It's time for a midsummer version of the Goldie on Ice podcast. Hope everybody is doing well. I thought of this today because at the end of this week, we're 2 months away from hockey season. And as Panther fans know, we're expecting this hockey season as fans to be a very long one. So once they start playing on September 20th with the pregame, with the preseason, it's on, and it's probably going to be on for a long time with this team. They've got the best group of forwards in hockey. I believe if their top four defensively isn't the best, it's right there. And by that, I mean overall defense and offense. Obviously, look, the Panthers, their system really isn't designed, but they don't have, one of those point-a-game players on defense. They're a little more defensive than that. So if you want to go by offense and you look at the Quinn Hughes and the Cale Makars, just incredible players. No, the Panthers don't have one of those. So when I say overall their top four is as good as anybody, that includes those players. And then very interesting what happened in goal. Sergei Bobrovsky is gone to Toronto on a reported 3-year deal for $21 million. Panthers traded for Jacob Markstrom. He's got 2 years left at $6 million. Only the parties, meaning Bobrovsky and his representatives and the Panthers front office, really know how all of the negotiations ended up going. But the bottom line is the Panthers got a guy in Jacob Markstrom who, when he has played behind good teams, he's been great. He really has. And if you watch the Olympics or you just go online and check out some of Sweden's games from February, Jacob Markstrom was great. So banged up after the Olympics, shut it down at the end of the year. The Devils were out of it. Maybe part of that was the Devils, figuring, hey, we're done. No need to push it. Then they go and get, ironically enough, a new general manager in Sonny Mehta, who did a great job with the Panthers. Bill Zito always gave him a lot of credit. And then Bill Zito and Sonny go and make that deal. And the Panthers pick up Jacob Markstrom, who, by the way, signed that 2-year contract with New Jersey, 7 months ago. He signed this deal before the season started, a 2-year extension. So 36 years old. If you didn't know, Jacob Markstrom started as a Panther, as a young guy. So he certainly knows, the area and the arena. And, sometimes for players, a little familiarity helps. And goaltending coach Rob Tallis, who's been with the Panthers forever, knows him as well. And ironically enough, he was traded in the Roberto Luongo deal. So it's interesting that Jacob Markstrom ends up coming back. I've always liked Markstrom. I like his size. Obviously, at his age now at 36, managing things with 2 extra regular season games will be a factor. Again, Panthers are a team not trying to just sneak into the playoffs, and they're thinking Jacob Markstrom's going to end up playing until late June. As of recording of the podcast, Akira Schmid is the other goaltender, a trade from Vegas. Again, when he has played behind good teams, he's been really good, and he made a big name for himself a few years ago for the New Jersey Devils in the playoffs when he won a playoff series and had some shutouts against the Rangers. And he actually played about half the games this year in Vegas. People kind of forget that because in the regular season, Vegas had their struggles until late in the year when they made the coaching change and they got red hot the last few weeks and obviously got hot in the playoffs. And John Tortorella, when he came in, went with Carter Hart as the starting goaltender. So, Schmidt is a guy younger. Again, like Markstrom, has good size. And I've just seen, and we've all seen so many times over the years, and you can go way back to when the Panthers had Chris Driedger. Remember, it was Bobrovsky, Driedger, and Knight, that first playoff series against Tampa Bay. All 3 of them ended up playing. And from Driedger to Alex Lyon to Anthony Stolars, and the list goes on of goaltenders that have come here into South Florida and have really played well for the Panthers in their system, teamed up, at the time with Sergei Bobrovsky. So I've got optimism in goal. Certainly keeping Markstrom healthy will be a key. The good news for the Panthers is without any Finland trip like they had a few years ago, and a Winter Classic, and then an Olympics and a Four Nations. There's none of that. There's none of that league-wide this year as far as international competition, and there's no, specialty, if you will, games for the Panthers this season. So you would think the schedule will be more spaced out, and that would certainly help. Probably less back-to-backs, probably less, 3 and 4 nights and 4 and 6 nights where things can kind of get, weary. But that's the situation in goal for the Panthers. The forwards, it's unbelievable what this team has got. And as always, the Panthers do an amazing job at retooling their depth. So in comes Lars Eller. And is 37 years old. Quality veteran guy, has won a Stanley Cup, scored the Stanley Cup clinching goal for Washington way back when against Vegas. Lars Eller knows what it's like playing in big games. And again, with Barkov, Bennett, Lundell as your top 3 centers, you're not going to ask Lars Eller to do anything beyond what he really can do. And that's minutes-wise and responsibility-wise and all that. Good penalty killer, which is huge because it takes minutes off players. We know, the past couple of years, when you really need your top players to kill penalties, it's not always easy on them. So sure, the Barkovs, the Reinhardts, they'll kill at times when the Panthers need them to kill. But, you bring in a guy like Lars Eller for depth that can kill penalties. It's key. And then maybe the most underrated move, Garnet Hathaway plays a game that is so suited to the Florida Panthers. It is amazing. And he and Eller were teammates in Washington. They were penalty killers together. So again, you've got another center that can kill penalties besides Lundell and Barkov, another winger that can PK. And of course, Evan Rodriguez was traded along with Jesper Boquist in the Markstrom trade. So, Garnet Hathaway takes more penalty killing minutes there for the Panthers. And again, along with Eller, 2 guys that are very familiar. Of course, the Lundell-Losterinen combination is terrific. So the Panthers, looking really good as far as the PK is concerned. 2 terrific power play units, you would think. You want to talk about outrageous? Seth Jones, Alexander Barkov, Sam Reinhart, and the Tkachuk brothers. Every one of these guys is, Team USA, Team Finland, Team Canada, world-class players, awards and championships. And then it leaves you with a second unit. You would think Aaron Ekblad running it with guys like Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand and Carter Verhaeghe. This team is just, it's amazing when you look at it on paper what they can do. And it looks like Brady Tkachuk will start the season on the Barkov line with Sam Reinhart. And you talk about a position for success. And by the way, it's no knock on anybody in Ottawa, because Brady Tkachuk had Tim Stützle, really good young player, and guys like Claude Giroux in the top 6, and Drake Batherson. All due respect to those guys, they're not Alexander Barkov and Sam Reinhart. You are talking about elite hockey IQ with those 2 guys, elite defensive responsibility with those 2 guys. We know Barkey's won the Selke, numerous times. Sam Reinhart, all the goals, the 57-goal season and the 39-goal season and the 4-goal clincher, to win the second cup, and the game winner and the cup clincher in Game 7 to win the first cup. Sometimes his defensive work gets lost in all of that. So I'm fascinated to see what Brady Tkachuk, who, again, I mentioned it with Hathaway, Brady Tkachuk is a better player, I believe, than he would be in another system, because I'm not sure anybody in the NHL gets in on the forecheck, gets in on the body against defensemen, no matter what size they are, like Brady Tkachuk. And when the Panthers are going the way they need to go, and they're a championship team, they're forechecking the heck out of you in Paul Maurice's system. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Brady Tkachuk succeeds top to bottom, goal scoring, points, of course, something everybody pays attention to, but all of those other underlying things and underlying numbers. And the Butcher is back. Great to see Ratko Gudas. I did some games for national radio Sports USA in the playoffs and did a number of games in that Anaheim-Vegas series and got to see Gudas and chat with him. And, it wasn't that far off of him coming back to Florida. I think I might have even joking around, said, hey, you should come back to Florida. He said, hey, I'd love to. No doors are closed. So amazing to see Gudas, a fabric of who the Panthers are. And you look at it from an energy, juice, spark, physical type of, team that the Panthers are. You got Forsling and Ekblad. You got Jones and Mikkola. I'm guessing it's going to be Kulikov and Gudas as the pair, and Uvis Balinskis, as he has done in the past, does a terrific job at it. If he's, the seventh defenseman, if he is to start the season, he's going to get in there. Not everybody plays all 84 now with 2 extra games. And I just love what Gudas brings. And then you've got a Tkachuk on each line. You've got Brad Marchand, and then you've got that fourth line with guys like Eller and Hathaway and Jonah Gadjevich, hopefully healthy this year, and Cole Reinhardt, who the Panthers picked up, who I like Cole Reinhardt. I think in the way the Panthers play as a depth player, he's a guy, little offensive skill, can put the body on you. And the Panthers also brought back Cole Schwint. So you've got some grind, some energy, some juice, really all over this hockey team. And I'm real optimistic, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So, by the way, Alex Petrovic also back with the Panthers. So it's incredible. You go back, to 11, 12, 13. Our buddy Ed Jovanovski, my Scripps Sports Television colleague, was the captain of that team. And you had a young Jacob Markstrom and a young Dmitry Kulikov and a young Alex Petrovic. And here we are all these years later, and these guys are back. And I'll tell you what, Petrovic had an underrated season last year in Dallas. So you look at them bringing him in and signing Sabrango and keeping Toby Bjornfoot on a 2-way deal, who's been a call-up and has been effective for the Panthers. The Panthers know you need 9-10 defensemen to get to the end of June and hoist that trophy. And they've got that. Now, does everybody stay? Is everybody healthy? We'll see about that. But you look at the depth of this team now, even a guy like Sam Lafferty signed on a 2-way deal, a guy, early 30s, has been effective in the NHL. When there's a call-up needed, you've got him. You're going to have Sanders Vilmanis. If he's not on the opening night roster, he would be a call-up, probably more in the top 9 when you need somebody. The re-signing of Eetu Luostarinen, just say it's been a very effective offseason for the Panthers, and you'd have to think right from day one when Paul Maurice gets these guys on the ice, you're going to have, both Tkachuks to start the season. You're going to have Brad Marchand in there, who still never played a regular season game with Alexander Barkov. Same goes for Seth Jones, which is incredible. And, of course, Barkov's the key in the whole engine. And he was terrific at the World Championships as Finland won it. So very optimistic and very anxious to see this hockey season get going. All right, everybody, listen, hope you're staying cool enough here in South Florida. It's only like 94 and sunny every single day. Hope your summer is going well. Leave a nice comment. Leave a bad comment if that's how you feel. Just leave a comment, subscribe, and spread the word. And we'll talk to you soon here on the Goalie on Ice podcast.